watch our recording through my file later. Where is the recording? Have I start recording now? Okay. Okay. So I have started recording. So why I call it super basic English lessons because yeah, it is due to my proficiency in English because I also have a very super basic. I'm not in advanced in English, but I'm trying to also together with you developing my understanding in English. So I just like to call our lectures is about super basic English lessons. And previously, you have learned some subjects with also with Mrs. Rosie and also with Mr. Periodnadi, I guess. And for the last 3 weeks from today, we will also continue our study understanding about only two basic formats or basic forms of English is about conditional sentence and preference. But first of all, I would like to introduce to you about myself. Uh, so have you seen my slide change to the next slide? So I am from actually my hometown is in Bengkulu, particularly in very small town called it Churup. So this is a town that probably comparable with Padang Panjang in West Sumatra. So yeah, it's a smaller city, but it is with a lower temperatures and majority of people living surrounds are farmers and also it's quite nice place. So I spent my childhood and until I graduated from my senior high school there. And so about almost 20 years ago, so almost 2 decades, I decided to move to Padang, chasing my dreams and taking uh, university degree. So I also study in biology department at 2001 in biology department. So it's quite far for me moving from my hometown and live in Padang. So ever since about 2 decades ago, I spent a lot of my times living in Padang. So studying and also working in Padang. Now I also with my family my wife and also my baby we live in Padang, and we just sometime visited our hometown during Lebaran or probably during the long holiday. But unfortunately, during this pandemic situations, uh, it's quite difficult for us to return back to our home, even it is holiday. So we have been yes, it has been about probably almost 1 year. We did not return home in Europe, so visiting our family. So yeah, it's quite sad. So since 12 years ago, so I also have been a part of academic staff in biology department. So my particular specifications is animal physiology. So I work as a lecturer and also as a researcher in animal physiology. So if you learn the animal physiology probably in fifth semester, we will meet in our class and we'll discuss and also I also perform research in also focusing in animal physiology. And then yes, starting from it is earlier before right before the winter. It's not the winter, right before the spring 2013. So it is almost seven years ago. I had an opportunity to study in Japan. So because my major is an animal physiology related with medicine, so I was very lucky having an opportunity to study in medical science. So I was interested with a medical matter, and therefore I got such a great opportunity to study in GG Medical University. So this is a university particularly dealing with medical science. So in this university, I registered in organ and cellular physiology lab with my professors and also uh, some members, so quite large members of the laboratory staff, including the teachers and also the students and also the researchers coming from different countries like from Mongolia, sometime from Canada, and sometime also from South Korea and China and India and Bangladesh. So I had a great opportunity also to directly interact with international atmosphere there, even with very few amounts of Japanese students in our laboratory. So what was my research? So this is pictures of mine that during the sometimes during the winter, because of, we are living in tropical regions, so it is a great something fascinating for us, something exciting for us to play with snow. So my first time to play with like ice skating and also enjoying the very heavy snow times and also like in the winter. So that's quite beautiful, but the temperatures was very low and I'm suffering. I was suffering with hypothermia, but so quite difficult. And I also in GT Medical School I perform a research particularly about neuroscience. So I just try to simplify the neuroscience. So my study was of revealing or investigating the neurons, particularly in the hypothalamus. If you learn in biology, I bet you know about hypothalamus. This is the particular part of our brains. So I investigated it using several approach, and as you see here, I use a very modern machines. It's kind like you could operate it using a robot, using a computer program. So it's a microscope, but it is integrated with the computer programs, and you only could operate it using computer. And this device, this research tools, machines is used to measure the activity of particular neurons. So because my study is related with the neurons. So this is my latest time enjoying winter in forest after the snow falls. So if it is snow, then in the morning after the snow, you could enjoy the situations like this. This is a very pristine, very peaceful conditions and beautiful as well. But we don't have to mention about the temperatures. It's quite cold because the temperatures sometimes decrease below zero, or the maximum temperatures is only 4 degrees Celsius. So it's like you are living in refrigerator. So it's quite cold. You need to use several layers of your clothes, but your pants is also you use a jacket, and you also have to cover. Sometimes you have to cover all your entire body. So I'm only using your eyes to see the word. And then this is also my latest time. Sorry, I have a problem with my throat. I need to drink. So this is my latest time enjoying the spring in my university. So this is cherry blossoms, sakura. So during the cherry blossom seasons, we could enjoy it so much. We could play everywhere and found the flowers, many flowers there, and the temperature's rising. So you will enjoy as long as the temperature is not declining. And so 3 years ago, So earlier, right after the winter in 2017, I completed my study there. So I finished that and I completed my PhD study and got a PhD degree in human biology. So in medical science. So I graduated with my PhD degree and I moved back to Indonesia. So I returned back here and start restarting my work, of course. So starting on yeah, in March. On March I moved back to Indonesia and I live in Padang then. So I also so recently, as I mentioned before, that my major is of animal physiology. So I recently published my book Physiologi Hewan. So this is the basic principles of animal physiology, and this is textbook that will be used if you learn about animal physiology in lectures with me. So probably in fifth semester you will use this book. So in this book, it consists of probably almost I think it is more than 400 pages. So I design it, I write it by myself, and I publish that through the Andalas University Press. And yeah, that's you can read it this book later if you continue to the fifth semester because you will learn animal physiology in the fifth semester. And I also with my friend with Rita Maliza. So she is a molecular biologist from Ahmad Allan University, and she is my friend, and she's really smart. And we also perform a research uh, about bengkuang, bengkuang. So about jicama. In English, we call it jicama or yam bean. So based on the research, we also then decide to compile it in a book. So we also published a book about this fiber, the fiber isolated from the tuber of bengkuang or yam bean. And we try to describe about the research about it. That we perform a research based on our project. Uh, we investigated its effect against the disease like diabetes and obesity and kidney disease and also free radicals. So tell our story in this book. And yeah, recently, there's a part of my hobby. So beside my professional life as lecturers, as a biologist, performing research in my laboratory and teaching also, and also writing a paper based on my research, I also big fans of fictions. So I love reading novels since I was elementary schools, and I also love to write a short story. And yeah, this year I also published my novel. So this is a novel, this is a fiction story. So I with this is my illustrator, so Pak Robbie. He is also a teacher of our department. So he is a junior, he is a junior teacher that recently joined it with our university as a senior, as a junior lecturer. So I asked him to add some illustrations in my novel. So this is a quite smaller novel with a very short storylines, only less than 100 pages. So yeah, probably it will be available soon. You can purchase that. This is part of my hobby. I love to write a novel beside writing the book. And yeah, as I told you before, that I'm a big fan of fictions, and uh, yeah, it's quite surprised that about 5 years ago, I won the third place of national competitions in writing short story. So, but it's just like third place. But my background is biology, so I'm not persons that engage with literacy, with literatures, with some fiction related educations. But this is part of my hobby. So I write the short story, and I won a competitions for the third place. And recently, I also published some my short story. You could read it in my this one, the link that I showed you. So this is like an online magazine. So I also submit my short story. Then they decide to publish it. They appreciate it. And also this one, my story about yeah, I combine about the biology and also the fictions. So that is about my hobby. And beside writing short story, I also love gardening. So I love to plant fruits, flowers. As you see here, I love to plant my own flowers by myself, like bougainville and any kind of aroid plants, and also guava, and also some, here vegetables also, because my parents are farmer. So when I was young, I lived in the village, small village, so I spent a lot of time uh, working in the farm and planting of our own foods, like vegetables and fruits, and therefore I acquired such hobbies. And this is also I plant it in my house. This is uh, a kind of taro from, but it's a specific taro. I purchased it from Mentawai Island, so it's quite difficult to purchase it. And recently, I decided to study to do my research, investigating the beneficial effect of this taro, originated from Mentawai. Hopefully next year I will get a funding for this yeah, kind of research investigating the local plant. So I designed my own garden because I love designing, and I decided I never ran them. And I also have a cute baby. So I am a father. So she is now turning to 2.5 years now. So almost 2.5 years old. So she is yeah, cute, playful, and also demanding because she loves looking at the pictures in biology books, because in my home I have a bunch of biology books reference that I use for teaching and also reading. And therefore sometimes they love to open such a book and looking in every pages and comments with every pictures like anatomy, histology, and even something like molecular biology matter, like this is the DNA, the electrophoresis result of DNA. So she is uh, a reader. But even she couldn't read it yet, but she is really excited in reading the pictures. So that's all about me. I hope that you could it is quite enough for you to understand about my personal backgrounds. And personally, I am really open-minded person. I love to interact with you. I love to discuss and also to improve our proficiency together. And in these lessons, I decided to use 100% in English with you because yeah, this is the way to improve your proficiency in English, because learning about the language is about to practice it, not to only knowing about the concepts, the formulas, and also the rules, the regulations, but you need to practice it. That is the single formula to be proficient. It's like you're riding bicycles or even motorcycles. If you are learning how to ride a bicycles, you don't have to learn a reference. You don't have to read a book firstly, because if you have okay, for example, you have a very sufficient knowledge about how to ride bicycles, how to move your balance, and how everything how about the bicycles, but without practicing directly to ride it by yourself day by day, you will never be able to ride bicycles. And that's it, the same chaos. I mean, the same situations if you learn about the language, not only in English, but for example, if you learn about another language from Java Island, for example, from Bali or from other islands in our country, or even from abroad like Japanese or Chinese, Mandarin, or like Germany or Netherlands. So as long as you never practice such a language with yourself, you will never be proficient in using such English. I mean, such a language. So in case of me, I love to practice it by myself since uh, when I was like elementary school, I never learned about English because I live in rural, in very rural area, like in nearby the mountains and the forest, and we will never uh, taught by English teacher. But during the junior high schools, I firstly started to learn English, and yes, I was really interested with it, and until today, I also keep my understanding to my keep my effort to improve my ability in speaking and reading and writing, so any kind of proficiency. But what I know about learning this language is about practicing. So if you never practice it with yourself or with your friends, or by listening or by watching movie and practicing yourself mimicking, you will never be proficient, you will never be able to learn, I mean, to speak in English fluency. And so only just try to practice it. I Sometimes my friend said, what is your instant recipe in being able understanding the English, particularly in speaking? So I said, actually, I'm not such a proficient person in speaking English, but I realized that I'm improving. Why? Yes, because day by day I try to evaluate my ability. I joined some courses like online courses. I love to reading every day in English, and I particularly loved watching movie in English. So watching movie, you could listen it, you could understand the conversations, and you also could enjoy it by following the story uh, telling in the movies, and therefore it could improve your pronunciations and your understanding. So I really encourage you in these lectures and also in other lectures, please just try to practice it. Try to practice your English, and therefore it could improve you by day. So you still have a bunch of time. So in our lectures, so now we will continue to step to our materials in our lectures. So we will learn about conditional sentences and also preference. So this is there are two chapters that will be our major topics in these 3 weeks of lectures. So today I'd like to focus only on conditional sentence, uh, and probably the latest week we will focus on the preference. So I bet you, hopefully that you could hear this one. Even this one is quite.
If I had not done what I did,
Can you hear the voice,
you would
City?
all be dead.
This is my kingdom.
Yes, sir. I
Can
can
you
hear.
can you hear the
It's
voice?
unclear, sir.
Okay, but at least you can see the text.
No. If you come, you may never get back home.
Fine by me.
If your father dies,
Probably I will share this video in our groups, in WhatsApp groups, and then you can
If he's innocent,
watch it.
why is this taking so long?
So actually, the contents of the video is about the using of the conditional sentence in the real conversations. So this is. So I would like to skip it.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
I do, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So I will share it this video with you. It's just only a clip of how to use the conditional sentence in the real conversations. In this case, this clip was cut from the sequence of Hollywood movies. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to drink. So now, can you see my slide now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I see.
Okay, great. Because it is raining here. It's quite heavy raining, so probably it's quite noisy here. So in conditional sentence, as probably previously have learned it with Mizozi also as introductions. So actually there are 5 types of a conditional sentence. So that should be type 0 and type 1, type 2, type 3, and also the mixed type. So these 3 types, uh, if you focus on these 3 types, let me hide this panel firstly. So the type 0 and type 1, a conditional sentence, it is telling about the fact or something that possible to happen. So, but the other types, type 2, 3, and mixed types, are telling about the impossibility. So it's quite different. So if we talk about the general truth or but the laws, the rules, so we could use the type 0. Like for examples, the fact that if you melt the ice, I mean, if you heat it, if you heat the ice, it will melt. So it's kind of that natural law, of course. Something that is heated, it will be melt, of course. So this is about the fact it is a possible, really, really possible. We could say it is 100% possible. But with the type 1, we talk about the future situations that we believe are real or possible. So, for example, I don't want to stay in London unless I get a well paid job. Or, for example, I don't want to stay in London if I get a well paid job. So, we talk about actually the future situations or present situations, and it is something that is true or that is possibly will be happen in the future. But for the type 2, so you have learned previously this type 1 with Mizozi, and so I just want to focus only with type 2 and the rest of the types. So for the type 2 is about the impossibility. So if you want to tell with your friend, I mean, you want to talk to your friend about something impossible, you could use the conditional sentence using the type 2. So type 2 is particular conditions, a conditional sentence to describe about imaginations, your imaginations about the present situations or about the future situations that are impossible. So the key is impossible. So it's not possible, but it's impossible or unlikely in reality. So it is the key. So type 2 is about the presence or future. It's something that is now happening or will be happening in the future. And it is impossible to be happen. So it's quite different with the type 3. So the type 3 is about something happened in the past. So type 2 is talking about the present and the future. But the type 3 is telling you about a different situation in the past. And also imagine about a change in the past situations, and also the different results of the change also happens in the past. So type 3 is actually telling about the situations happening in the past, and uh, it's controversial with the current situations. So it's about the impossibility. So sometimes we just end up with a type 3 telling about something impossible happened in the past with a different situation, different results. But actually, there is additional types, call it mixed type. So in the mixed types, it's actually quite similar with type 2. So we use the past sentence the past sentence, and then we are combining it with the possibility or impossibility about the change. So makes, for example, to imagine a past change with a result. So in the present, or a present change with the results in the past. So let's we take later for the some instances. But first of all I need to close my windows because it is rainy now. Okay, sorry for leaving you. So let's move to. Can you still hear my voice now? Hello. I hope you can still hearing my
Yes,
voice.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, glad to know that you can hear my voice because uh I live in rural area, and sometimes the internet connection is just slower, and sometimes disconnected. So I need to check it regularly whether we are connected or not. So uh, I will tell you how to identify the type of conditionals. So, for example, if you met with such sentence in conversations, or if we want to tell something with our friends in our real situations in our daily life, or even in your presentations in the lectures or in the conference. So, how to identify the type of conditional sentence you use or other persons use in conversations with you? So, what is the first you have to do is please determine the possibility by understanding the context of the sentence. So it is easy actually. We will understand the context of the sentence to identify about whether the story of the sentence is something about possibility or about impossibility. So something about a fact or reality or in reality or non-reality. So how to determine the possibility? So is it plausible or not? Something to be or has been happened in the context of the sentence. So for example, next will identify the sentence. And then does such sentence, that's so the context of the sentence tell you the fact or opposite situations in reverse. So it's tell the fact that should be type 1 or type 2. But it tell you about non fact, I mean the opposite situations, the irony, the reverse situations, that it could be the type 3 or I mean type 2, type 3 or the mixed types. So zero type, and I mean if it is about a fact, it could be the type 0 and type 1. And the next step also, so we talk about the plausibilities, about the possibility to be happen. So the type 0, it is true, will happen. So it's telling you about the fact. And the type 1 also, it is with higher possibility to be happen. And but the type 2 is about plausibility not to be happen. So the probability to be happens, the context of such sentence probably lower. But for this type 0 and type 1, it could be reached, the 100% will be happen. And the type 3 is about the irony, that you telling something you had not experienced, or you had not telling the real situations. You tell some things, but in real situations. So here, for examples, in the type 0, if I drink coffee, I stay awake. This is the fact, right? So if I drink a coffee, of course, you will stay awake. It is true. And for the type 1, say this about the situation that will happen in the future. So if I drink a coffee, so the fact is now I'm not drinking the coffee yet, or but I will. So if I drink the coffee, I will stay awake. So it is about the possibility. If you drink the coffee, of course, you will be highly possible to be staying awake. And then for the type 2, if I drank a coffee, say we are telling about the past situations. So it's quite different. So this is in the present situation, this is in the present situations and present and future situations. But this is, we are telling the sentence is telling you about the past situations. If I drank the coffee, when? Probably yesterday, probably several days ago, probably last week, last month. So if I drank a coffee, now I'm not drinking the coffee. So if I drank the coffee, I would stay awake. So for example, last Saturday night, if you drank the coffee, you would stay awake. So it is maybe not. Maybe you did not drink the coffee on Saturday night, and you wouldn't stay awake. And different with the type 3. So type 3. So if I had drunk a coffee, I would have stayed awake. So it is mean that actually you had not drunk such a coffee and you had not stayed awake. So that's about the plausibility. So the first way, the first method to determine the content, what the type of such sentence, you will understand whether the context of the sentence is telling you about a fact or not, but something that is really happen with 100% or with high possibility to be happen, or it is just something impossible or some things that telling you the reverse, the opposite situations. So next, after we identify the context, whether it's telling you the fact or telling you about the impossibility, then you have to identify the clauses. So which is the conditions? The conditions should be, at the preliminary part, it should be started with if or with the indicator of conditions. So which is the condition? Whether it's if clause, which is the result. So the conditions commonly started with if, and the result or consequences is the result or the subsequent conditions, subsequent situation that will be happens due to the condition that you tell in the preliminary part. So you have to identify, for example, here, it is very easy to identify which one is the main clause, which one is the if clause. So the conditional sentence consists of these two parts, these two clauses. The if clause is telling you about the conditions, the requirement, for example, the situation, for examples, and the main clause is telling you about the result, about the consequences. If this condition is happening or had happened, then it could triggers this result. It will be in up with this result, such a result. And these arrangements of the clause and the main clause, if clause and the main clause, could be this is interchangeable. So for example, you could put the main clause in the front part in the first sentence, and then it will follow it with if clauses. So you will tell firstly about the results, and then you will follow it with the conditions. But you also could put the conditions here, and then you will follow it with the explanations of the result. So how to determine the clauses? If clause, of course, the conditions should be indicated by if, for examples, but the consequences will never be indicated by such a situations like this. And then the third step to identify what type of the clause, whether it's type 0, type 1, type 2, type 3, or mixed type, we could determine it through identifications of the tenses used in such sentence. So is it in present or future? If such a sentence is written in a present tense or a future tense, that should be type 0 or type 1. But if it is written in simple past, or yet told in simple past. Therefore, it could be the type 2 clauses telling about impossibility. And is it in the past perfect? So the past perfect should be the type 3 conditional sentence telling about something that had been happened, has been happened in the lot. So this is the just the formulations. If the zero, so it should be present simples in the present simple tense, and the result also in the present simples. So for example, if you tag the streets on the right, it's quicker. So it is about the law, the rules, the something that really 100% possible. But the first, also it's quite in present tense, and also written in present tense, present simples. But it is telling you about the consequences in the future, something that will be happens in the future. So it is in the future tense, but this is in present simples. So if I finish work early, I'll go to the shop. So it is the conditions and this is the consequences. Which one is the main clause? This is. So the main clause of the sentence, I'll go to the shop. In which conditions? If I finish work early. But in case of the second conditions, so this is our topic today, second condition. Second types of conditional sentence. So the condition should be written in the past simple. So was, were, or did, or something like that, that telling you about the past tense. So if I wasn't sick, say this meaning, if I wasn't sick, then it will be followed by this one, would or wouldn't. If I wasn't sick, I would go to the party. So it is telling you about something in real situations that this person is sick, was sick. So in fact that I was sick, and therefore I would not go. I wouldn't go to the party. And it quite different with the third situations, third conditions. So this is in the past, this is in the present, in the present, but the conditions in the third is past perfect. So just identify with this one. Had, for example, have. So it's quite different. This is in the past simple, but this is in the past perfect. If I laughed earlier, or if I had laughed earlier, then this is the consequences. The consequences is also written with would or wouldn't, but it's followed also with the perfect, past perfect. Like I wouldn't have been late. So it's different with this one. It is will be this types second type if you, for example, I wouldn't be late. So it's telling you. So this is the real situation. So let's us focus with this how to tell about these situations. So can you follow us here? Can you follow me? It's
Yes,
quite
sir,
rainy,
I can.
guys. It's just rainy,
Yes,
heavy
we
rain
are.
here. So in conditional sentence type 2, I will, because you have learned previously with Ms. Ozzy about the conditional sentence type 1. So in this lectures, I would like focus only on type 2 and the rest one, the type 3 and the maze. So in the conditional type 2, it is about the imaginations, your imaginations about the present or future situations that are impossible or unlikely in reality. What is the formula? So after this is the formula for the conditional part, condition clause, if follow it by the past simple tense. Past simple sentence. So you have to write your sentence in the past. Paul. And after this conditional part, then it will be followed telling you the result. So the result should be would plus the rest of the sentence. So let's see the sentence. Oh, let's couldn't be. Okay, so this is one. If I were you, so this is in the past simple. If I were you, then This is the condition, right? If. And then this is the consequences, the result. I wouldn't mention it. So this is in the past, and this is followed by the would. So it is the conditional type 2. So it is telling you about something in reverse, something impossible. What is the impossible? In fact, actually, in reality, I am not you. Of course, I'm not you. If I were you, so you are not me, and I'm not you. That's the fact that we told here. And then you would mention it. So I'm not you, and in the situations, also you would mention it because you are not me. So you would mention it. So it's the formula. So let's move to the conditional type 3. So the type 3 is quite different with type 2. With the type 2, just telling you about some things that in real situations like this, our imaginations about a present or future situation that is impossible. But the conditional type 3 is a focus on telling you about the imaginations or situations that is a different in the past. And we imagine a change in the past situation and the different results of the change. Also, it's the consequences of the change in the such situations. So the formula is not in the past simple, but in the past perfect for the if clauses. So if follow it by the past perfect sentence, and then you will tell about the consequences, about the results of such situations by would have, and then past participles. So let's focus on this sentence. So we wouldn't have got lost. So we wouldn't have got lost. So this is the situations. I mean the consequences, the results. We wouldn't have got lost. We would, okay, wouldn't. So would not have, okay, and then got lost. This is the past participles, right? Got lost. If, so this is the situations. So this the arrangement of such sentence could be interchangeable. So you could put the if clauses in the part in the front part, or in after the main clauses, I mean after the consequences. So in this case we wouldn't have got lost if what. So if the if clause should be written in past perfect. If my phone had not run out of battery. So this is had not. This is past perfect. Hadn't, had not run out. So what is in effect the consequences of the result? We have lost, of course. This is the reality. The consequences, the result, we have lost. We have lost in the past, and the conditions because my phone had run out of battery. So this is the fact actually, but the way you tell it with the conditional sentence is here. So you tell the situations with the different expressions in the opposite expressions. So at the last, this is the mixed condition. So the mixed condition is actually could be type 2 or type 3. So the mixed condition is to imagine a past change with a result in the present, or a present change with a result in the past. So it's quite different, this one. You imagine a different past, we imagine a change in the past situation and different results. So this is past change that could be with a result in the present, or a present change with a result in the past. So this is in the past or present situations, you imagine how it changed in the past. Something that happened in the past and it's changed, the situations, would have a result in the present. So it's kind of the consequences is happening now. So the formula is here. If clause should be if with past perfect sentence, and then follow it by would and this infinitive. So, for example, in the sentence, if I hadn't, so it is in the past perfect, right? If I hadn't got a job in Tokyo, I wouldn't be with my current partner. I wouldn't be with my current partner. So the present situations, the result in the present actually, I I will be with my, I mean, I'm now with my current partner. So I do now working with my current partner. And if I hadn't got a job in Tokyo, so you are telling about something changed in the past. So if I hadn't got a job in the Tokyo, and then this is the present result, I wouldn't be with my current partner. So this is telling you that actually in now in current situation that this person is actually with he or with his or her current partner, of course, and he he got a job in Tokyo. And so the another types, the additional is also the related with the mixed conditional. It's about the presence, something, the situations is in presence. But so imagine how a different situation in the presence would mean that the past was different as well. So for example, so different situation in the presence. So it's quite different with this one, change in the past situations. So it's not in the present situation, but this is telling you about the past situations. If I hadn't got a job in Tokyo, and then the result in the present. So this is the results happening now. But in the situations that uh, imagine how a different situation in the present would mean that the past was different as well. So the past also different. So this is the formula A followed by the past simple. This is different. And in the past present mixed situation, this is should be written in past perfect, but in the present past form, it should be E plus past simple. So it is a say type 2 conditional sentence, right? E past simples, but it is followed with the would have past participles. So it is really important. If it wasn't, so this is if. If it is wasn't, so you're telling about something in past. Wasn't it? If it wasn't, I wouldn't have called you on your holiday. So in reality, actually, it has been happened in the past that it was, of course, it was, and I had called this you on holiday. So this sentence also telling you about some things in a different ways, like in the opposite situations. There, sometimes you could use the conditional sentences in telling about the irony about. For example, if you're telling you about you regret of your past life. For example, if I studied English a lot when I was in my junior high schools, I would be very fluent in speaking English now, or I could reach the scholarship. I could get the scholarship to study in USA. So you tell something that it is actually a different situations happen in the past and also the consequences that happen today. So I couldn't play this video, but next I will show you. So that is the explanations about the conditional sentence about type 2, type 1, and also we focus only type 2, type 3, and the mixed type. So this one. Okay, so this one. So this is kind of the summary about the conditionals that the type 2, type 3, and it makes it telling you about the impossible thing, but the type 1 and type 0 is telling you about a fox. I mean, about a possibility. And how to tell it, it's also with a different sentence, with a different form of the top of the sentence you told it, whether in present or future, whether in the past that probably has been happened, or whether or all the situations but the past and the results, the past change with a result in the present, or present change with the results in the past situations. So that is the explanation for how to use the conditional sentence in the real sentence, and how to identify it, how you could differentiate it, could differentiate which one is the main clause, which one is the consequences, I mean, which one is the situations or the conditions. So the next week we will make a practice. We will make a conversations. What kind of the conversation that we will have? Uh, we will make a great conversations about this. So you will have um, the conversations. I mean, you will make a dialect through the online. So your task is, first of all, you have to divide your class to be several different groups. So probably 30 seconds. Probably you will be like seventh group, or yeah, sevens probably, yeah. You could divide it seven or each group, and you can divide it freely. So who is the leader of your class now? Pak Komtingnya siapa? Who is the Komting?
Aziz, sir.
Okay, so
Aziz,
so
sir.
Aziz, that is your uh that is your job. That is your obligatory work to divide your class to be probably seven or eight groups, and you could allocate each one of individuals in your class to be in a different groups, and each group then in your group you should try to prepare the script of conversations. Probably during your senior high school or junior high school, you have uh, practiced it, right? So your talks in groups, please rock with. I mean, do it within your own groups. Write down the script of conversations for your group in which all the types of conditional sentence. So these conversations, you could decide the topic really, whether, for example, it is about your hometown, about your beautiful life with your friends, or about your childhood, or about your dreams in the futures, whatever, or even about the pandemic, for examples. So you could make some conditional sentence there. So you could decide the topic freely. Please be free to choose what kind of topic you want to discuss in your group. But the major task for you is, first you have to write down the script of conversations. So like you make a script for the conversations, and uh, but what kind of the conversations, it is free, but you need to incorporate it. You need to include the conditional sentence, all type of conditional sentence in your conversations. So in type 1, type 0, type 2, type 3, and mix of conditional sentence should be included in your conversations. So, for examples, you are telling about your previous life in senior high school, for examples, and you did something, or something happened to you, and you feel that and you make an imagination if something is not happening, it wasn't happened. I mean, yeah, something that could be different in your past life, could be uh, in now in current situations, you will be very happy. For examples, if I did not move to Padang, I could be stay in my hometown now. So it's kind of that, something like that. So but we will practice such a conversation. So your first talk is, you have to write down the script of conversations in your groups, and this conversation should be um, uh, contain the conditional sentences. And then what's next, that you need to practice the conversations with your groups to develop the perfect conversations, the perfect pronunciations, the perfect sentence also. So you need to check whether your sentence is correct or not by checking the formula, and by adopting the regulations or the rules that you found in the reference, also from my today's lecture. So practice. So after you decide to write the script for conversations of your group, and then you will practice it. You could practice it through your meeting through Zooms or through WhatsApp. I don't know. You can make a video call with your friends, and then please practice it with your own groups. And then why should you practice it? Because you should develop the perfect conversations. So only by practicing it, by doing such conversation directly with your friends in your groups, it will make a perfect preparation for your real which real situations or presentation for the conversations. So next week, uh, you should submit the script and the word files. So the script of conversations, after you decided with your friend, after you evaluate it, and you think that is the very perfect conversation script, and you have practiced it with your friends, and you think that you have developed a perfect conversations with your group, and then please, before, probably one day before the lectures, so today, so you have to submit that. The deadline is on Monday, the next Monday. Please submit the scripts, so the script of conversations in the Word files. So share it in our WhatsApp group. Just share it. So each group, please share it. Not every person share it, but only, for example, we have 7 or each group, so only 7 or each files. So the representative for each group should submit the scripts in our WhatsApp group. So please share the Word files. Why you share it? Because we, the entire class, should know about the contents of the conversation. So, and then on the day, on the next Tuesday, we will try to demonstrate it. We will to practice it in front of our online class. So we will demonstrate the conversations directly in the next online meeting, so that will be perfect practice in using in of conditional sentence in written, and I mean in written form, and also in the direct conversations in the class. So be prepared that uh, next week we will make conversations in the class, and each group should present their conversations, and please practice it, and we will identify one by one the conditional sentence you mentions in your scripts. So we read your all entire class will read your script of conversations, and you will make a dialogue. Your group will make conversations using such a script, and we will together uh, identify one by one the type, and whether the conversations, I mean, whether the sentence, the conditional sentence that you have written in your script is correct or not. So that's kind of the learning by practice. I mean, by practicing. So without practicing such a language, such a topic that we learned today, I am not sure that you will understand as well, how to use the context of type one, for example, type two, type three, or even the mixed type in the real sentence, in the real conversations with your friends. So I think that's I would stop my slides here. Okay, so now we move back to our class after I present it, and I will share the major contents of my slide today in our WhatsApp group, so you could read it later. But that is the major point for our lectures today, that learning the language is about the practicing it. So I encourage you, please practice the language by yourself. You could, for example, when you are in taking a bath in your bathroom, you could practice it by speaking with yourself in front of the mirror, for examples. And also when you have opportunity to watch a movie, not focus only watching Indonesian movie. Of course, some Indonesian movies are good and worth to watch, to be watched, but uh, I encourage you to watch movies like Stranger Things in Netflix, for example, or some other English or kind of English movies, and so you could identify how they pronounce that sentence, how they use the context of the sentence, the tenses, and that's kind of uh, the way you could improve your proficiencies, about in speaking, about in listening, also about in writing, also understanding the text. That's just my point, that I hope that by practicing the English in your real situations, it could improve, and yeah, it could significantly elevate your capability in reaching your dream in the futures. If you have a higher TOEFL score than 550, so sometime the baseline for the scholarship, if you want to study, for examples, you will apply the scholarship to many universities in Japan, for example, in Australia, and also in other countries like the Netherlands, even in Europe, or also in the USA, in America. Uh, the best line for your TOEFL score, like an ITP TOEFL score, I bet you have took the TOEFL test, right? Right before you enter the university. So it's kind of the very basic way to measure your English proficiency. But there was no that speaking proficiency measure and such tests. But you may take another kind of test, other kinds of tests, like an IELTS, or like internet based tests, TOEFL based tests. So it will measure also your proficiency in speaking and also in writing. But for the ITP, or institutional testing programs, it just measures your proficiency in understanding the structures of the sentence, and your proficiency in listening and also reading. So just measure three part of your proficiencies. But uh, such a kind of your ability to listening of the context of the sentence and understand it in the TOEFL test, it just something quite difficult if you never practice it, if you don't practice it regularly in listening the real conversations from the native speaker. So just just read novels, or read the news and news in Facebook or in online magazines, or also watching a lot of Western movies. It could lead to your significant, improvement in English. So I think that's all for today. Thank you for attending our class, and don't forget, uh, please divide your groups. Please divide your our groups. Probably the master of your class will divide you into probably each group is better, each group. So you could make just a kind of conversation that will be presented about probably less than 3 minutes. So the maximum length of your conversation probably only 3 minutes. 3 minutes is better, I think. So the maximum length of your conversations is only 3 minutes. So probably if you write down the script, it's only very short conversation place, right? Short conversation script. So but don't forget to incorporate the conditional sentence, all the type of conditional sentence in many parts of your conversations scripts. So that's all I think. Then don't forget to submit your talks on Monday on our wizard group, and also right after our lectures, I would like also share the video to you, and also share the slide with you also in our wizard group, so you could learn it later and improve your ability to understanding the use and the structures of the conditional sentence. So thank you very much. That's all I think, because now it is more it is 15, it is 3 p.m., and this is the largest part of our time and meeting online. Thank you very much for attending our class today. Hope you could be encouraged and could retain your motivations in learning and studying the foreign language, not only in English, but also other languages like Japanese, for example, Mandarins, and any kind of language, or whichever the language that you are interested in. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Our pleasure to
Yeah,
learn with you.
bye bye.
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 Terima kasih, Pak.